the chapter? Measurement of matter. Very good. So in measurement of matter, the first topic which we started was laws of chemical combination. You just give me the answer to the question which I asked you. In laws of chemical combination, what was the first law we studied? What is the first law we studied? Yes, come on. Who's going to give me the answer quickly? Law of, yes, very good, Runal. Law of conservation of matter. And law of conservation of matter was given by Antoine Lavoisier, who stated that there is no rise or drop in the weight of matter during a chemical reaction, which means that in a chemical reaction, the total weight of the reactants is same as that of the total weight of the products which are formed during the course of the chemical reaction. This was law of conservation of matter. Yes, I can see many of you are able to write the law as well. Very well. And the second law which Arman has already given us, that is law of constant proportion. So now you know what is my second question, for which I already get the answer. That is J.L. Proust is the name of the scientist who introduced this law to us. So now the third question, as you all know, what does the law states? What does the law states? What did J.L. Proust help us in understanding? That the proportion by weight of the constituent elements in the various samples of the compounds is fixed. I am giving you the exact definition which should be from the textbook, and you need to learn it from the textbook only. The proportion by weight of the constituent elements in the various samples of the compounds is fixed. And here we take the example of water, where irrespective of the source of water, the ratio of the constituent elements, that is 1:8, remains the same. I am revising what we have done previously because I know few of you have missed your class and few of you wouldn't have taken pains to revise the chapter before coming for the lecture. If we would have met live, I would have given you nice punishment. But as I don't have that opportunity now, so I just have to revise it with you. No, you don't have to write anything because this is just a repetition of what we have finished. So these were the two laws which we understood in the first lecture. Sorry. After that, yes, Sanskar, thank you. We spoke about atoms. That's it. So talking about atomic size, we know that in the atom is circular. The size of the atom is circular. In the center, I have the nucleus, and lightweight negatively charged particles revolve around the nucleus, which are electrons. And inside the nucleus, I have what? Thank you, Ashwin. Inside the nucleus, what do we have? What is present inside the nucleus? Is it only protons? Is it only protons? Yes, it is protons and neutrons. Does anybody know what are protons and neutrons together called as? What are protons and neutrons together called as? No, it's not electron. It's inside the nucleus. That is correct. But what are they together called as? Thank you, Zoya. They are called as nucleons. They are called as nucleons. So this was about the structure of the atom, which is circular in shape, for which we require the atomic radius to measure the size of the atom. An atomic radius is the distance from the center of the nucleus to the outermost shell. And on the basis of that, atomic radius is measured in the units called as, what is the units of atomic radius? How do we express? Thank you, Sahil. It is nanometers. Very good. It is expressed in nanometers. And can you tell me what's the ratio? How much is 1 meter equal to dash nanometers? 1 meter is equal to dash, yes, 10 raised to 9. Thank you, Aishwarya. 1 meter is 10 raised to 9 nanometers. So if I reverse, it becomes a raised to. Okay, correct. Very good. As we all know that atoms are very, very, very small in size. We cannot see it with the naked eye. Modern instruments like electron microscope, field ion microscope, scanning tunneling microscope are required to see them. On the basis of that, imagine that atom being so small, we cannot even see them. The difficulty arises in weighing the atom. For that, we study the concept of atomic mass. And in atomic mass, we studied that in the beginning, initially, when scientists did not have much of the technology, they made use of reference atom, to give us the atomic masses of the elements. Which was the first reference atom taken by the scientists? Which was the first reference atom? Hydrogen. Very good. Because hydrogen, being the smallest element, was taken as the reference and compared with other elements to get us the different atomic masses. After hydrogen, the next element was carbon. Very good. After hydrogen, the next element taken for reference was carbon. And when the reference atoms were compared, in this way, different atomic masses we were getting. Sometimes we were getting fraction. So to get rid of all that, we came up with the concept of something which is called as unified mass. So now, my dear students, we don't measure the atoms in relative masses, but we measure them in unified mass. And unified mass has now been accepted as the unit of atomic mass. It is called as Dalton. Very good, Soham. And its symbol is U. Very nice. And I have got the value as well. Thank you so much. So 1 U gives me 1.66053,904 into 10 raised to the power of minus 27 kgs. Very good, Ayan. Very well. I missed on to one student who had given me earlier, but I'm really happy that everybody is really active and participating in the lecture. After that, after discussing about atoms, atomic masses, we came up with the concept of chemical symbols of elements. Who was the first scientist to give the idea of symbol? Who was the first scientist? Yes, very good. It was Dalton. Dalton was the first person who helped us to use the concept of symbol. But do we use Dalton symbol? Do we use Dalton symbol? Do we use the symbol? No, because the symbols given by him were inconvenient to use. For that, we came up with another scientist whose name is Berzelius. Very good, Samina. We came up with Berzelius, who told us that symbol, this is the definition which you can see on the slide here. Till now, I was just revising what we have done in the previous classes. The definition was given by, the definition for the symbol of the element was given by Berzelius, after which we have formed a group of scientists which are together called as IUPAC. Yes, sir, you are correct. It is IUPAC system that we are going to follow from henceforth to symbol, to give symbol of any element which will be discovered from now onwards. IUPAC stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Okay, everyone? So till here what we have done in the previous classes. Now let us move ahead and try to understand. But before that, I want everyone to read the definition of symbol of the element with me. Symbol of the element is either the first letter of the name of the element or first letter and the second letter. The prepositions have to be very accurate here. It can either be only the first letter, or it can be first and second letter, or it can be first and any other prominent letter in the name. I hope everybody, yes, Arman, you've understood. Thank you so much. Everybody has understood the symbol of the element. To get the clarity on symbols of the elements, let me show you certain symbols here. Okay, let me just. Now, is it still visible? So we all know what is the symbol of the element. Let us see. It should be noted that, now you have to be very careful when you're writing the symbol, my dear students. It should be noted that in a two-letter symbol, the first letter will always be capital and the second letter is the small letter. So I'm just giving you the list of the names of the elements along with their symbols, which you can try to answer if in case you know these symbols already. But do not write, do not panic. I will give you this chart when it is required, when we'll be discussing about valency. For now, I just want you to see and understand. I don't want anybody to write this. I don't want anybody to write this. I just want to see and give me the answer. So the symbol, first I am talking about the English name of the element and its symbol. You might be thinking that why am I using the word English name? Because we are also going to come up with some elements whose symbol does not follow the concept given by Berzelius. Okay, so let's start. Let me see how many of you know the symbols very well. The first one, I think I couldn't have asked for much simpler than this. Hydrogen, okay, I'm getting the answers. H, very good. Helium, what will be helium? He. I can give you this benefit of doubt that because you're typing and because you want to be first to give me the answer, you're not taking care of that first letter should be capital and the second letter should be small. Please, my dear students, take a note of that when you are writing the symbol, first letter capital, second letter small. Okay, few students who were there with me in the previous standards already know these first 10 or 18 elements. So next element is lithium. Lithium symbol would be Li. Very good. Next one. Let's come to the next one. Beryllium. Come on, tell me for beryllium. Be. Very good. Boron. Beryllium is Be. Make a note. Beryllium is Be. Boron is only B. Boron is only B. Next one. Carbon. Oh my God, so difficult, isn't it? Carbon is only C. Very nice. Nitrogen. N. Nitrogen is only N. Nitrogen is only N. Oxygen. Oxygen is going to be only O. Next one. Fluorine. Fluorine is going to be only F. Fluorine is going to be only F. Neon. What will be neon? See, nitrogen I've already got N. So neon is going to be Ne. Similarly, next one. Magnesium. Magnesium. See, because we are having this technology in hand, you are having your cell phones, you're having your laptops, you can easily Google anything and give me the links here on the chats. That is not required, student. Please let us keep it minimal and try to understand the topic from your examination point of view, because Google is not going to come and help you in your exam, and neither you're going to have this technology in hand. Okay. Aluminium. What will be for aluminium? Al. Very good. Silicon. Silicon will be, yes, come on everyone. Very nice. It is Si. Phosphorus. What will be for phosphorus? Yes, very well. Phosphorus is P. Very good. Next one, sulfur. What will be sulfur? Sulfur is going to be just give me a minute. I think we have a little problem here with the internet today. Phosphorus is not pH. Phosphorus is only P. Please make the changes, necessary changes here, my dear students. Phosphorus is only P. It's not pH. Sulfur is only S, not Su. Chlorine we have already discussed. Chlorine we have already discussed. It is Cl. Very well. Chlorine is Cl. Let's move ahead and see different elements, more different elements here quickly. Argon. What be for argon? Have you heard about the names of these elements? Definitely, yes. We all have heard about the names of these elements. Argon is Ar. Answers now. Isn't that the names of the elements? Come on, what's going to be for calcium? Argon is Ar. Don't simply write A. It should be Ar. For calcium, it is going to be, yes, for calcium, it is going to be Ca. Calcium is Ca. I am sorry, students. I think we are facing a lot of problem with the internet today. I hope you all can hear me, but I'm sure you're not able to see my screen. Do not worry, the screen has gone blank. Okay, hopefully it resumes back to normal now. So we have done with argon. We are done with calcium, which is Ca. We are done. Okay, we're not done with manganese. What is manganese? What is manganese? Anybody knows what's the symbol for manganese? Symbol for manganese is Mn because magnesium is Mg. Now cobalt is, it is not only M, it is Mn. Very good, Arman. Symbol for manganese is Mn. For magnesium, it is Mg, correct? For cobalt, it is going to be Ca is for calcium. As you can see, already we have calcium done here. Cobalt is Co, C capital O small. Nickel is Ni, N capital I small. Zinc is Zn, Z capital N small. Next one we have is bromine. What's going to be for bromine? Bromine, the answer is Br. For krypton, have you heard about this element, krypton? For krypton, it is going to be for For krypton, it is going to be Kr. For iodine, it is going to be I. And for xenon, it is going to be Zxn. I'm just giving you the symbols which we might be using in this chapter later on. For xenon, I would request everyone to please keep your videos off, because if you keep your videos on, it really creates a lot of unstable internet connection, as we have a lot of students in this meeting today. So I would request, it's a humble request from my side, please keep your videos off. So we have come on to xenon, which is Xe. Barium, barium is Ba. Then we have uranium, which is only U. So these were the, yes, my screen is hanging, I understand this, and that is happening because everyone, please keep your videos off. Now I think the screen is visible to everyone, and here I have the English names of the elements and their symbols. Yes, I will definitely give you the code, but that I will give you when we are doing the valency. For now, let us move ahead and understand that the Latin names of the elements and what are their symbols. So in our study of chemistry, we also use English names, so we are not familiar with the Latin names. Let us quickly understand the Latin names here. And most of the confusion definitely arises in the symbols because of these Latin names, because we are not much through with them. So here is the list of Latin name, my dear student. Sodium. Anybody knows what's the Latin name of sodium? I know everybody knows the symbol. Do you know what's the Latin name? No, you don't have to write. I will give you the list later on. For now, you don't have to write anything. Very good, Arman. It is Na, and the Latin name is natrium. Sodium, Latin name is natrium, and the symbol is Na. Next one is potassium. For potassium, the Latin name is kalium, and the symbol is K. Next element, iron. What's the Latin name of iron? Latin name of iron is, yes, correct, it is ferrum, and ferrum means it is Fe. Now, you all can observe that why the names of the elements are not matching with the symbols, because in this case, the definition of symbol is used onto the Latin name. The definition of symbol is used on the Latin name. Now, if you see the Latin name carefully, and for writing the symbol, we've used the first letter and the second letter, so that it gets clear to you. Copper. What's the Latin name of copper? Anybody? Correct. It is what? Cuprum. Very well. And what will be the symbol? The symbol is going to be Cu. Very nice. You know a lot of Latin names. Really happy. Silver. Come on, tell me. Who's going to tell me for silver now? Okay. Yes, the symbol, the Latin name for silver is argentum, and the symbol is Ag. These are the names which you might have not come across frequently. You know the symbols, but you don't know their Latin names. So just for that, I'm giving you the Latin names here. Gold. What is for gold? You know the symbol is Au, correct? It's aurum. Next one, mercury. Come on, tell me the symbol of mercury, because mercury we are going to use for a lot of reactions as well. Mercury, the symbol is Hg, which is hydragyrum. Then we have lead, which is Pb, and the Latin name is plumbum. Tin, for tin we have the symbol, it's totally different from the name. Tin, totally different from the name, which is tannum. The Latin name is tannum and the symbol is Sn. And the last one is tungsten, where the Latin name is wolfram. That's a German name. Okay, that's not a Latin name. And if you ask me this question now, why this German name? Because we have not decided. This is what is given to us in the syllabus, or not in the syllabus. That is what is given in the books of chemistry. The tungsten was taken from this Latin name wolfram, where the symbol is only W. My dear students, these were the Latin names along with their symbols. I hope you just got acquainted with the names. It's okay if you don't know them by heart right now. We are going to by heart them a little later on. For now, just keep it in mind, these are the Latin names. So today's class, we have already discussed about atoms, atomic mass, symbol of the element. Now let us talk about something which is called as the molecule. What are molecules? You all have heard about these words a lot number of times. You know what are atoms, you know what are molecules, you know what are compounds, you know what are elements. But when I ask you the definition, this is where you get confused. So let us have this basics very clear to us today. When I am talking about molecules, molecules are very small objects that are made up of connected atoms. Or you might be thinking, what is the meaning of connected atoms? Molecules are made up of atoms. For example, if I take water molecule, which is H2O, it is made up of 3 atoms bonded together, 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 of oxygen. Similarly, in air, we have these gases like nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen is N2, that is 2 atoms of nitrogen combined together. Oxygen is O2, where 2 atoms of oxygen are combined together. So these are molecules. How do we list them? So let us try to understand molecules of elements and molecules of compounds. I want everyone to understand this carefully. Atoms of some element exist independently. We are talking about atomicity basically, students. Atoms of some elements exist independently. For example, silver, gold, copper, argon. I'll repeat the definition of molecules once again. They are formed by combination of atoms. So yeah, this is the definition of molecules and we are going to repeat it again. Atoms of some elements exist independently. For example, these are monoatomic. And what is the meaning of monoatomic? That when you're writing reaction, you're going to write silver as only Ag, gold as only Au, copper as only Cu, and argon as only Ar. And sometimes, in some cases, 2 or more atoms of elements combine to form a molecule. I hope now you can get the definition here. In some cases, no, you don't have to write, you just have to listen to me. In some cases, 2 or more atoms of elements combine to form molecules. And a molecule of an element is the combination of atoms of the same element. Sometimes, my dear students, molecule of an element is the combination of atoms of the same element. Let us see the example. Example of hydrogen and example of oxygen. Can you see here? I have 2 atoms of hydrogen combined together. I have 2 atoms of oxygen combined together. And they are combination of the same element. I will tell you what to write, but right now it's not required to write. A molecule of an element is the combination of atoms of the same element. For that, we get examples of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Yes, you are correct. These are various examples. And the molecule of a compound is the combination of different elements. Now we are talking about of a compound, which is also a molecule, but that is made up of combination of atoms of different elements. When I have combination of atoms of different elements like water, H2O, I have 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon dioxide, like carbon and oxygen. Because they are made by combining the atoms of different elements, we call it as a compound. Is this concept clear to you? Thus, when atoms of different elements combine with each other, they form compounds. Molecules of these compounds are formed by the chemical attraction between elements. So by this slide, I hope everyone is clear with the concept of atoms, molecules, and compounds. When I say atoms of some elements, they exist independently. When I say molecules, they are combination of atoms of the same element. When I say molecules of compound, when I say molecules of compound, they are atoms combining together of different elements. Once again, a simple recap of what we have studied just now. A simple recap. We discussed about atoms of some elements like helium, neon have independent existence. What do you mean by independent existence? That is, they're going to be alone. So we call them as monoatomic molecular state. Monoatomic means single atom. Mono means one, atomic means atom. So single atom is the monoatomic state. Sometimes two or more atoms of the element combine to form the molecules. So when they combine, we give them the word polyatomic molecular state. Is it clear? Do you understand the difference between monoatomic and polyatomic? Monoatomic means single atom, poly means more than, yes, just like your monochord. Correct. So polyatomic can be two also of the same elements or can be of different elements as well. So here the examples can be of oxygen, nitrogen, which are diatomic. Because we specifically know there are two atoms combined together. JB Nagar Mahalakshmi, don't switch on your video, please, Baba. It creates a lot of nuisance when I am teaching. Yes, Sami, your chats are reaching to me, but I don't understand what is your question, so I am not replying. So the elements oxygen, nitrogen are in dimolecular state, which you all know as O2 and N2. And that when atoms of different elements combine with each other, the molecules of compounds are formed. So I just wanted to know you to make sure that everybody knows the difference between atoms, molecules, and compounds. Because in the next slide, we are going to learn something which is called as the molecular mass. First of all, let's keep all things means I'm going to check the weight of the molecule. And as you know, we just now studied that a molecule is formed by combination of the atoms. So how am I going to get its weight? So simply, molecular mass is the sum of the atomic masses of the atoms present in the molecule. I am explaining once again. Molecular mass. I am talking about molecular mass. A molecule is prepared either by having two atoms combined together, or it can be, which are two atoms are of the same element. Thank you so much for telling me that my voice is coming and it's going proper. Thank you. So where was I? Oh, yes, I got it. Vandan Solanki, thank you so much. You know how to find the molecule mass. Very good, Mronal. I know that you're a very smart child. For everyone else, I need to explain this. So you also try to solve it. So molecule is prepared by mixing two or more atoms of the same element, or it can be two or more atoms of different elements. But it's a combination of atoms. So now everyone, please read the definition of molecular mass, which states that molecular mass is the sum of the atomic masses of the atoms present in the molecule. And yes, Daniel, you have to write this now. So everyone, take 30 seconds time and quickly write molecular mass and the definition. Yes, Sujan, I understood. Thank you. Done, Ria. Very good. Sriram, I think now you have to check internet connection from your side because I assume that majority of the students are able to hear me properly. Yes, Sami, see, I've got your message and you've written done. Thank you. If you keep on switching on your video, that will definitely create a trouble now. If I see anyone switching on the video, yes, oxygen is a molecule. It's the molecule which is made by two same atoms combined together. Can anybody tell me that done copying, you don't have to copy, you have to learn by heart? Is it by heart to you? Have you even learned it? It's so simple. Krishna Yadav, I think you have to go out now. Don't want to sit for the class? So molecular mass, my dear students, is the sum of the atomic masses of the atoms present in the molecule. Yes, it's very easy. Just like the definition is very easy, the numerical is also very easy. Let us try to solve it. Now, nobody will write anything. I don't want anybody to type and give me anything, to write anything and do anything. Can you please explain the last one? Okay, please. See, I'm explaining that only. You see this now. So I want everyone to just sit and understand this. I don't want anybody to write anything, to type anything. Just look at the screen. Just, yes, we'll talk about covalent bond a little later on. So talking about molecular mass, as we discussed in the definition, it is the sum of the atomic masses. So let us take one example of a molecule whose mass we are going to find right now. Molecular mass of carbon dioxide. How many elements do I have here? I am having here two elements. One is carbon and one is oxygen. So I am going to add the masses of both the elements, correct? But for adding the masses, it is not just simply add the masses. It is not simply adding the masses. It is also necessary to take into consideration their number of atoms. Like in CO2, there is one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen. In CO2, I am having one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen. So first I will make one bracket, and this bracket is for carbon. I am going to write here first number of atoms of carbon. Number of atoms of carbon, which is multiplied by atomic mass of carbon. These brackets remain the same irrespective of the number of elements you are having. Here I am having two elements, so I have made two brackets. First bracket is only for carbon. So first you will write number of atoms multiplied by atomic mass. Similarly, the second bracket will be for oxygen, and the topic remains the same. That is number of oxygen atoms multiplied by atomic mass of oxygen. Is this much clear to everyone? Is this much clear to everyone? Number of carbon atoms multiplied by atomic mass of carbon plus number of oxygen atoms multiplied by atomic mass of oxygen. Now, number of atoms is visible to me. I can easily see the number of atoms. Number of atoms of carbon is how much? As I can see, number of atoms of carbon is only 1. And for atomic mass, I have already given you the table, if you remember, when we were talking about atomic mass. From that table, if you are having your notebook properly in your hand, from that table, you can see that atomic mass of carbon, yes, Arman, it is 12. Very good. Then number of oxygen atoms are how many? What is the number written at the base of oxygen? It is 2. So 2 atoms of oxygen multiplied by atomic mass of oxygen. And from the table, everybody, do you remember I had given you the table of the atomic masses? I had even asked you to write that table. From that table, we know that atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Very well. Now I think it's very simple mathematics, which all my intelligent students would have done, because we have great teachers to teach you algebra here. So we have 12 plus, I did not tell you to write the atomic masses. I did tell you to write, I think so. If you're not having that, do not worry. Textbook page number 49 has all the atomic masses. You can refer that and give me the answer. So what is my final answer here? Did you all calculate? 12 plus 16 multiplied by 2 is going to give me 32. So my final answer is how? No. It is going to be 44. And what is written at the base of 44? What is written beside 44? U. What does U stands for? What does U stands for? It's the unit, right? If you remember, it's the units to represent the masses. That is Dalton. Very nice. So now I want everyone, if you have understood, please copy this slide, because these numericals are very important. They are definitely going to be asked in the exam. one question will surely be asked, and it is so simple because they're even going to provide you the atomic masses. You just have to substitute the values and get me the answer. So quickly, my dear students, please write this and let me know when you have completed it. Kirti is done, Sami is done, very well. That U symbolize the units for measuring the masses, which is given by Dalton. So I'll just wind up my lecture here only for today. So today we spoke about symbols of the elements. We also spoke about molecules, which is monoatomic, diatomic, and polyatomic. I didn't understand. Okay. If few students who have not understood, do not worry. For now, you simply copy this molecular mass numerical in your notebook. And next lecture, when I'll be meeting, I'll be dealing with more examples so that your concepts get clear. But next time, when you come for the class, you make it a point that you revise and come for my lecture so that it becomes easier for you. Yes, examine mein atomic mass will be given to you. Do not worry. So let's wind up our class here. Hope everybody enjoyed the lecture because today we did not do a lot of things. We had a lot of disturbance in the class today. And next time, I would request everyone to please keep your videos off. If you switch on your videos in between, it really creates an unstable internet connection because of which everybody has to suffer. So I'll be seeing you live when we meet in the class, but I don't want you to switch on your video here and see me. Okay?
Thank you so much for the
class. Sir, I'm done.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Students kindly join for physics lecture.